Jordan Matthews, former Vandy star, NFL wide receiver and tight end.
Yeah.
In the studio with us now. He's got some cool stuff coming up we'll get to. But you heard about Big Slay?
Yeah, I heard about it outside. They were, I guess they were checking on him, see if he was in here. He's out of commission, huh?
Yeah, he just had it on Friday, so he's doing the PT thing and
pain management thing.
He's day to day.
We figured him on pain medicine on air, probably a bad idea. Like, we want to protect him, and make sure that he can still be our coworker moving forward.
That's right.
He thought, oh yeah, I'll be in by Monday. I'm like,
I feel like at this point, though, in the game, it's all about shock value, so you might want to bring him in.
Well, he provides that without pain medication.
Yeah, for the benefit of 104.5 The Zone, just bring him in.
Yeah.
It might hurt him, but it'll help the whole group.
You actually did our show. It was either right before you got drafted, right after you got drafted, and I don't even remember who were my co-hosts at that time.
It was not me.
It wasn't you, so it was probably Blaine Bishop and maybe
Clay
Travis.
Yeah,
maybe.
It's over a decade ago, man. Clay was that's crazy.
Yeah,
Clay's kind of done his thing recently, huh?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
To say the least.
That's a good way to put it.
It makes a lot of people mad.
Yeah.
You know what? I listened to him. I followed him for a while, and I love my timeline because I'm like, I don't think anybody would know what I believe if they looked at my timeline because I like to get everybody.
I'm the same way.
On the and he fits a mode of yes, I need one of those. I need somebody that's going to say this to mess up my algorithm. I don't want AI to know what I think. I don't want them to know.
This is how smart you are, man. Who thinks about that?
Vandy education.
Let me get some weird stuff in here to mess up AI.
That's
Dude,
right.
when they try and come get me, they're not going to know where to find me. So we're good.
You're speaking in T-shirts now.
Come on. Shout out to Clay.
I love it. Jordan Matthews with us. Let's start with Madison, Alabama. So let's start with recruiting. Why Vanderbilt?
Well, actually, I probably recruited Vanderbilt.
Was it Bobby Johnson?
Yeah. So to be honest, I only had one scholarship offer.
Okay.
And so it's funny because now that I'm kind of getting to I tell people I'm probably on the 18th hole of my football career. I'm probably putting at this point. And so now when you start to look back on it, so many people are like, man, you kind of need to speak to a lot of young high school athletes about this. You only had one scholarship offer, and I'm honest to God, I didn't have any Division II, Division III, no Alabama A&M, Faulkner University, nothing. I had no offers. I went to a Vanderbilt camp and did really well here, and they basically were talking about gray shirting me. I was talking to Bobby Johnson, but I was
incredible
mostly
guy,
great man.
Yeah.
But I was mostly communicating with Robbie Caldwell and Charlie Fisher.
Robbie Caldwell. We'll get to him because he ended up as your coach.
Jordan. Gotta let down some manure before the flowers grow. He always used to say that, man. He used to always say that. And then there was a point when I was a freshman. He played me. He played me that year. And we'll get back to recruitment. He played me that year, and it was so funny because before I caught my first touchdown versus Florida, he was my recruiter. So he didn't redshirt me, but I wasn't pulling my weight yet. And he'd always tell me, Jordan, I ain't going to take no grocery eaters. When all the away games, I'm going to stop taking these groceries. So I'm like, all right, coach. For
those that don't know, Robbie Caldwell might be the funniest person outside of maybe C. Spurrier that ever came through the SEC. And he was there 1 year. He went to SEC Media Days. I'll tell you about that in a second.
Crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
so
man.
no grocery eaters. You catch a touchdown against Florida.
I catch a touchdown against Florida, but before I caught it, we called double fade, and we threw it to the other receiver, and he caught it, but then his foot landed out of bounds. He was an upperclassman. So then he comes on the field. He's literally is definitely a penalty. He's midway on the field. He goes, call it again and throw it to him. And he pointed straight at me. I'm 18 years old. And he looks at me and said, and you better catch it. And you can imagine the fear in my body, but the ball went up, I caught it, and that was the start. I had a 4-touchdown run, and everything went good. But as far as recruiting, I had no other offers. I tell people all the time, Vanderbilt didn't recruit me. I recruited Vanderbilt. I was calling them constantly. I want to be there. I'm telling you, if you guys bring me in, I work harder than anybody that y'all have ever had at that program. And then Bradley Roby, who played a long NFL career, was committed to Vanderbilt, decommitted, went to Ohio State. I got offered Christmas Eve as a high school senior.
Signing day is early February.
I finished high school football. I had the last kick return as a high schooler. I got tackled. We were in the semifinals.
I've got goosebumps with this story.
Dude, I'm telling you, we were in the semifinals.
This is incredible.
I got tackled, and we're playing Leeds, Charles Barkley's alma mater. We went 12-0 up to that point, lost in the quarterfinals. And I remember laying down there on the football field and was like, this is my last football game. I had no offers. And it wasn't until Bradley Roby decommitted. Vanderbilt calls me on Christmas Eve, and it's Coach Caldwell. He's basically like, hey, we got one offer left. We wanted to bring in 4. Bradley decommitted. Do you want it? I'm like, do I?
Merry Christmas. You know what I mean?
That's the best Christmas present ever.
Sensational.
Dude, wait, you go from no offers to Christmas Eve offer to second-round draft pick.
Second-round draft pick.
And long-time NFL player.
Dude, it was crazy because what also was funny was during that time, we used to always have this thing called the Huntsville Times Classic. It was this big basketball game, and if you were committed to a school and they called your name for the starting lineups, it was big because the whole city's out, and they would say, like my boy Reggie Ragland, they'd be like, Alabama, commit.
Yeah.
Reggie Ragland, the whole crowd would go crazy. And that tournament was already going on. So we played like one game. It was like, all right, number 25, Jordan Matthews. The next day, I was like, please say this. Put that on it. And
I need you to add that.
I need you to add that. Things have changed. The price has gone up. So it was like Vanderbilt, commit, Jordan Matthews. And it's just like, man. And
that's
so,
incredible.
And yeah, go ahead.
Did you ever, during that time, doubt yourself?
You know what's crazy? So my first, second cousin, we from the country, so everybody's kind of your cousin. But blood cousin, I don't know his number, but it's Jerry Rice. Okay, so I always had there was this understanding of there's a standard of how you go about things because Jerry was the way. When he caught a ball, he'd always go score a touchdown. You're the hardest working guy on the team. Those were things that were embedded in me. So when I was a sophomore in high school, I had 11 touchdowns. That next year as a junior, I had 1,300 yards. The senior year, I had another 1,000 yards, 8 interceptions, 2 punt returns. So I was always productive. Nobody had ever gone Division I from my high school, though. Wow. So there was just no recruiting pipeline. Exactly.
That's a bigger problem than people think it is.
Right. Yeah. How small was it?
So it was 1A size, but in Alabama, if you were a private school, you had to play 3A. So we played good competition, but it was 1A. So I graduated with 53 people.
Oh, wow. Okay,
yeah. So, but when I got to Vanderbilt, I already had this understanding, if I'm here off of one chance. There was no, these kids I don't like it here, I'll transfer. I ain't have none of that. There was no transferring anywhere else. Nobody else truly wanted me. So I had to make it work. And I truly believe this. I think the person who's the most grateful for the opportunity is usually going to always be the most successful.
I know, and parents aren't going to like to hear me say this, but I think there's something to be said also for having no backup plan.
Yes, huge.
My mom asked me one time, what if radio doesn't work? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, what's your backup plan? I was like, there ain't no backup plan. This is going to work. I'm going to make it work.
And you're grateful for it. That's what I'm saying. Even when it comes to
the blessing is knowing that you're blessed.
1,000%. Yeah, I've always talked about there's this one book I read. It was why is the tallest tree in the forest tallest tree in the forest? Because it didn't get cut down. So you need to always understand, man, I'm blessed. I didn't get cut down. A lot of people didn't get this opportunity. I have it. And when you have a real understanding of where you're sitting and the opportunity you have, I think you're going to run laps around people who don't get it.
Jordan Matthews. All right, so Robbie Caldwell, so we're sitting at SEC Media Days. I'd already been around him, so I kind of knew what was coming. But, he talks in one-liners, and he's got the most country accent you've ever heard in your life. And so a guy asked him, what's the strangest job you ever had? And he said, turkey insemination factory or whatever it was. And, the whole room of stuffy reporter, these are the print guys, that take what we do very seriously, like us. And, everybody busted out laughing.
Yeah,
this guy owned that event.
And this was firmly during the age of being politically correct. You know what I mean? This is not yet where we've gotten to now. For him to answer like that show, no, I didn't want any PR training before I stepped up here. I'm going to just roll. But that's Coach Caldwell. He's the realest dude. The way he recruited me, he was always honest, but he was my first and only handwritten letter that I have in my house. I got a handwritten letter from Robbie Caldwell when I was a sophomore. Now, if you get a handwritten letter from an SEC school, you think, man, this recruiting's about to go crazy. That's not how it worked out, but I still have that letter from him, and I'm forever indebted to that man. Yeah.
Aww. I ran into him
awesome.
At Clemson because he went afterwards and was the offense. I think he's done now, right? I think he retired.
I think
he's
so.
Gone.
I think so, yeah.
But he was the offensive line coach at Clemson a couple of years when I worked some of their games, and every time I saw it, he just makes me smile.
He's the man. He's there for sure.
So this will make Vandy people and Jordan Matthews smile. Tennessee.
Oh,
I looked at your stats against Tennessee.
Crushed them.
Yep.
You crushed the Vols.
Killed them.
So
Pretty
that
good.
freshman year you talked about that you said you didn't play that.
Tug.
5 for 62 and a touchdown.
Yep.
Sophomore year, 6 for 74.
Easy money.
Then 2 wins, 7 for 115, a touchdown, and a 47-yard run for a touchdown.
And I had another touchdown that was called back.
13 for 133 the next year.
Yep.
2 and 2 against the Vols.
Easy money. It's funny though, like, but I will say this. It's always, they don't do it as much now. I think I just been out of the game for a while, but there was a time where like I would still get some static from Tennessee Vols fans like in my mentions. And I'm just like, I'm not the one. I'm not the 1, the 2, or the 3 when it comes to talking about this. Like, oh, we beat Vanderbilt. I'm like, yeah, but you're talking to me right now. When we were at the helm, like we beat y'all there and we beat y'all here. So it was a good time.
Beat Tennessee. I went to Tennessee. I'm a big Vol.
Good.
Beat Tennessee big here. It was like, what is it, like 48-13
And that was a good team. Look, Tyler Bray was a good quarterback.
He was a good quarterback.
They had Justin Hunter. They had Cordero Patterson, who he had a kick return that game.
What
that
were
was
they
crazy.
doing with that team, man?
Dude, I don't know. And then, look, it was unfortunate because then, too, I don't feel like Derrick Rogers was ever able to, like, fully,
He was a skilled guy, too.
get to the height of his potential. But they had skill, but when they came that day, I just remember, like, there was, like, this long drought from when we had beaten them because Earl and Jay pulled off a win against them in Knoxville, 2005 or something like that. Yeah. But it'd been a long time since we had given the Vanderbilt fans that treat. And so to go out there and get that win like that was, like, huge. But, I mean, now, that was kind of like the start to see where Vanderbilt football is now and what they've done. Oh, my gosh. Like,
how did you consume that win over number 1 ranked Alabama?
I was in the hotel in Chicago.
Okay.
We were playing the Bears the next day, and I just remember sitting there just thinking like, this may be. I think when people think about greatest upsets in college football, I think people automatically go to that Michigan App State. Mm-hmm. It was opening weekend. Michigan's number 5. It's in the big house. Appalachian State had a little bit of good press. And then the blocked kick at the end, I think it's like etched in people's memory. It's kind of like Vince Young scoring versus USC, Boise State. Mm-hmm. It's those plays, right? But I just think that when you look at if Alabama has a number 1 beside their name in any game that you could be a nominal NCAA football fan, that is like the picture of excellence. Alabama, number 1 in the country. That's it. So for Vanderbilt to go pull that off, I was speaking on my Twitter. I was like, this is probably to me the greatest upset and the greatest coaching job by Clark that's ever been done in high level college football, individual. Because you couldn't tell if you took that game to anybody and said, does Vanderbilt beat number 1 Alabama? Nobody except for the guys in that locker room says that. Mm-hmm. Nobody. I guarantee if I went to some people when Appalachian State was starting to kind of like build some momentum, could Appalachian State pull this off? Could North Dakota State pull this upset off? There's some people, I think they could. Nobody thinks that Vanderbilt could ever beat a number 1 ranked Alabama team, and they did it. So it took me a while to process. Yeah. But I love the fact that they just went right back to work, got another win, I think versus Kentucky, and then they beat Auburn later that year. Almost beat Texas. Yep. It showed that they're for real and that they're here.
A lot of it has to do with that quarterback.
Come on, number 2, my guy.
Well, I mean, so I worked one of his games, what was it, New Mexico State, and I came back and I was like, when he transferred to Vanderbilt, I was like, y'all, this guy, like, if I'm in a fight in the alley and I get to bring one person, like, I'm bringing this kid.
Come on.
I mean, that is his mentality. It's crazy. So what do you think about him? How much interaction have you had with him?
I've had a lot. And it ain't hard to tell. Like, and you've watched a lot of ball.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to tell when you're, like, that's why some of these guys who are the GMs and all this, I'm like, do you guys watch football? To me, we were watching that Virginia Tech game. I was there in person. And the first drive happens. I started looking around. I'm like, is anybody seeing what I see? Then the second drive happens. And I'm like, I start telling people, hey, this kid is like that. Like, he's
that guy.
By the second half, I was like, I will let this guy babysit my children. I trust this man. I trust him. I like what I see. So it was like, from that point on, I'm like, I told him when I saw him after the game, I said, hey, you got it. Like, I'm telling you, I know what it looked like. You got it. I had not yet known the type of leader he was around the building. I work out there. I was working up there out today with Trent Sherfield, who's with the Broncos right now. Mm-hmm. We were training over there at Vandy this morning. And every time we go to the weight room, Diego's there. He's always at the building. Mm. And I'm telling you, the same way when Stetson Bennett was going through Georgia and people kept saying, well, he's not an NFL guy. He'll be doing autograph signings in Georgia when he's done. An NFL team still took him. He's still there. He's still there.
Yeah.
He's still a part of NFL roster. I'm telling you, you can
still
mark my words.
Degree, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
Did you see that story?
Yeah, he's like 30 with no degree. Yeah. Like, come on, bro.
He was forever.
He was there for 7 years.
Yeah, yes.
I'm like, come on.
I don't know what program you're on. You got to go get that degree. Yeah. But it's Georgia, so you know. But it's being honest. But Diego, I'm telling you, they're all going to say, oh, he's doing his last run. That's why he got the lawsuit done. I promise you, what he has in him, there's going to be an NFL team that says, we want that in our locker room. We want that around our guys.
He's going to kill the interview.
Bro, even if it's just like, let's just see how he does. Let him go in there in the preseason game.
Yeah.
He will. I'm telling you, he will embarrass a lot of people. So I can't say enough good things about Diego. I'm excited for him this year.
Jordan could definitely say what he wants about Georgia. 11 receptions, 89 yards against the Bulldogs, and beat him in 2013.
Come on, beat him in 2013.
Yeah, I did my homework.
Yeah. Junior year, I had like 130-something, I think. So, yeah, it was a good time.
Crushed him.
So James Franklin comes in.
My man.
And I will never forget this. People in his introductory press conference, people were talking about all of the losing or whatever. And he said, what does that losing have to do with me?
Come on.
In this program right now?
Yep.
And I was in with him ever since then.
He's always on. He's always on. Let me tell you something about James that I just appreciate
You got all 3 of his years at Vanderbilt.
I got all 3 of his years at Vanderbilt. If you text James Franklin right now, he will respond. And some people will be
He responds to me. He has no reason to respond to me.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this guy, if it's important to you, even if just for a split second, it'll be important to him so you feel seen. He's always recruiting. He never thinks anybody might not impact his program in a positive way. And look, I can speak about him all day. Like when he was coaching me, there were some hard days. Like trust me, there were some days where we bumped heads or, there was a way that he saw things and I kind of might disagree. I was young and an immature kid, but when I got done playing, like, trust me, he was going to be at my wedding. Like, he was at my wedding. Him and Fumi were the last ones off the dance floor. Like, that dude is, he's always on, competitive. He's always talking about,
wife, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
But he'd always talk about competing in everything you do. He lives it. He would talk, now he don't have no hair, but he would talk about waking up with your hair on fire. And he does.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these guys. So the funny thing about college football is every single time I turn around, it's somebody complaining about it. It's always somebody complaining about it. So the first thing I'm always asking is like, well, if y'all hate it so much, then quit. Like, at least Nick Saban said, I'm out. I'm not just going to complain, but I'm going to show you guys, like, I'm not cool with this system.
Yeah.
But, like, James is the type where he's like, I may, like, have a press conference where I say, hey, here's some of the issues we're dealing with. But I'm telling you, when he gets away from that mic, he's right then he's in process mode. Like, how are we going to fix this? And how do we make this work for Penn State? So, look, he's a winner. He's a competitor. I know a lot of people, when I was with the Eagles, I'd always have a beat writer come to me and be like, hey, what's going on with your guy? I'm like, dude, just trust me. You ain't going to find nobody better. So go ahead and lock in with
This
him.
may be their year. They've got the 2 of the best running backs in football. Drew Allar's been there for 37 years.
Come on. Good player.
This may be
it. Feels like it.
Do you remember the first time you met him? How did he start? I mean, from the jump with hair on fire stuff?
I kind of remember that first team meeting.
Yeah.
I remember he called us all in, and that first team meeting, I mean, it was like, it was sharp as a razor blade. He went through the offense, and he said, and this will be the best offense ran in the country. Boom. Then he go to the defense, and this will be the standard, and this is the standard. I mean, it was like he had been rehearsing that thing for years. And so when we finally started off-season workouts, it was during the winter. That first pocket of winter workouts almost broke some guys. I mean, almost broke him.
He's probably trying to do that.
He was probably trying. He was probably trying to see like who was going to quit, who was going to, be able to lock into it. But I will say probably my favorite James Franklin moment was I had a couple practices where I wasn't playing up to the standard that he felt like he had for me. So he brings me in. He's like, look, Jordan, I coach Torrey Smith. I coach Jordy Nelson. This is what they did in our offense. I believe you can do this same thing. You're not doing it right now. This is the standard. This is what I expect. From that point on, we had no problems, especially when it came to the field. Because I knew, I was like, dang, he has a vision for me, and he wants to activate it, and I think it worked out well for us.
Amazing what communication does, right?
I'd say it worked out well.
I think sometimes coaches lose that nowadays, too. So
back-to-back 9-win seasons, only time in Vanderbilt history.
Were you ever like, come on, coach, take it down a notch? You would see it. Me and James had some honestly, back and forth moments.
Right, doing what we do, he was a divisive guy in this market, for sure. I just saw a particular
He'd be like,
side.
why are you wearing that color? That's a little too close to Vol Orange, you know?
We never had to book him. He would just call us.
Yeah.
And be like, y'all aren't talking enough Vanderbilt football, so I figured I'd call in. He did that multiple times to the point where I didn't even book him. Like, he just called in when he wanted to call in.
That's how he is.
But to her point, do you ever have...
No, I mean...
You said you butted heads a little bit.
We butted heads.
There was strong-willed guys.
Yeah, there was one time, it was just... Like, I was in the process of pledging a fraternity, so I was a little more tired than usual in one spring practice. And I think... So, obviously, he didn't know, but he was like, this ain't the Jordan I used to. And so it was just during a drill where like there was a one-on-one and a guy, like you're not supposed to tackle in one-on-ones. But basically I caught a ball and his freshman tackled me. So I got up and got mad at him. But Frank was like, no, that's right, tackle him. Because he was like he like I was practicing. And I was like, bro, shut up. And he was like, you're telling me to shut up. So he comes like out of midfield. And at this point I'm like, okay, like we're not about to fight, but man, he's charging me right now. But it's, but then afterwards, because Franklin, he's got high EQ. He actually is an emotional guy. Once he gets past all the recruiting stuff, and he called us up and he was like, this is one of our leaders, and we're having an argument at midfield. Like this, we can't be doing this. And I was like, that you were probably right. So he would always find a way to bring it back together, to win everybody back in. But I can't say enough good things about Frank. That's my guy.
Can you hang for a few more?
Let's do it.
All right, Jordan Matthews with us. We'll talk about a celebrity softball game we got coming up.
That's what we got.
It's going to be at the Hawk.
It's going to be at the Hawk, baby, the Mecca.
Coming up July 11th. We'll tell you more about that and just see where the conversation goes. Jordan Matthews in studio, 3HL. Filling in a little bit for Slay Dog today. Vandy for Tennessee.
I got him. I got your back, Slay.
You are pretty close to that orange and white polka dot.
Yes. I'm good on that.
Dawn, seriously, she was like, you got to move that chair.
I'm like, I'm going to get him right now. Don't make him sit in that chair.
Celebrity softball game coming up.
Let's do it.
Look at you, man. And we talked a little bit off air about this. I'm very excited for you about this. I know a lot of time, effort, and sweat equity goes involved. It gets involved with things like this. What you got going? July 11th over at Vandy?
Yep, July 11th. Doors open at 5. We're going to have a home run derby at 6. And the game starting at 7. Okay, so when people show up at 5 o'clock, we're going to have BP going. So you're going to be able to see some of your favorite Vanderbilt players of all time going through BP. And we're going to have some celebrities there as well, throwing the ball around, signing autographs, doing things like that. We're going to have music playing, food trucks. We got pizza, tacos, hot dogs, shaved ice cream. It's going to be a really lively event too. Some other activations that are going to be going on right outside of Hawkins Field. So we're at the Mecca. Like I truly believe, like until we get a MLB baseball team here, Vanderbilt, Hawkins Field for baseball, that is the height of baseball in this city. So the fact that Corbin was gracious enough to let us use that venue, we want to show up and show out for him. But it's going to be all proceeds are going to be going to Eli's House, and Eli's House basically is an organization that they exist to help women and children thrive after trauma. So what they do is a 2-year residential program, and I love this because they're stationed out in Franklin, but where they have this home, it's so beautiful. So people that are so let's say these women are in very vulnerable situations. They've been victims of trauma, close to the poverty line, things like that. This organization will take women in, put them on a 2-year program. They're giving them, therapy, They're helping them with childcare for their kids, helping them get their education. They're doing trauma relief stuff for them, helping them when it comes to like job training, skill training. So after the 2-year program, they're able to be basically like reintroduced to the world as a healthier mom to be able to take care of their kids. Because the goal is that a lot of these kids who may be at risk of going into the foster care system will be able to stay with their mom or stay with their parents. Jenny, who is the CEO of Eli's house, she's adopted as well. So she has an adopted child, and like she's all about family. Matthew's mission, like our foundation, I'm big on keeping families together. And they believe the same thing that I believe. Like, yeah, there's all sorts of situations when it comes to family, but statistics show if we can help kids stay with their biological parents, their chances of having a healthy life go up exponentially. But we also want to definitely, take care of the kids who don't have that same upbringing. Eli's house is hitting that on all fronts. So my wife brought this foundation to me when we started talking about how do we want to help, who we want to, pour into. And she was like, Jordan, this foundation is they're doing such a tangible help and reaching out for a tangible need in the community. I think so many times when you're doing these charity things, people are always like, where's my money going? Like, who are we actually helping? You can look up Eli's house and you can see what they're doing. It's like, I don't see how somebody can't come out and want to support. So we're doing this July 11th. Doors open at 5, home run derby at 6, game at 7. And we can talk about some of the players and some of the people that are showing up.
You going to get Clark Lee up to the plate?
Clark Lee's coming. Clark Lee agrees. So Clark Lee's playing. So the Tide Killer, he's coming out. Yeah.
He was a multi-sport guy growing up.
To be his name on the back of his jersey.
Yeah, on the jumper.
Not that he would be okay
He would
with
hate that. No,
yes.
I'm not doing that. I'm in good graces with Clark. I know he's a humble guy. I know what not to do. He's moved on from that game. We haven't. It's okay, Clark. But my guy Clark Lee will be there. Diego Pavia. Mr. Vanderbilt himself. First
I can't even wait to see him in this atmosphere.
Yes, this is like if you ever play backyard baseball, I imagine he's like Pablo Sanchez. Like he's just going to be amazing. Like as he is in everything. I know he's going to be the same way in softball.
He's going to be good at it.
Look, he just texted me and he was like, first off, all the stuff about the game is like on our socials. He's been agreed to it for months. But he's like, hey, what time is the game? So I texted him. He's like, thank you. And I'm in the home run derby. I was like, yeah. I was like, let's go. That's Diego. So he's coming out. Let's go. Who else? Tony Kemp. Man. SEC.
One of my favorite human beings ever.
He's SEC Freshman of the Year, SEC Player of the Year, just retired. Oakland A's broadcasting team now. He'll probably be in like the College Baseball Hall of Fame. He'll be joining David Price probably at some point. But just the man. We're bringing Tony Kemp back to Hawkins Field. So all you Vandy boys fans,
got a ringer.
Come out and support my guy. Like, come see Tony. I'm actually partnering with him on this, the Plus One Effect, his foundation, to throw this charity game. So Tony's coming.
Oh, perfect.
Shane Foster, basketball legend. John Jenkins, basketball legend. My guy Oren Burks. All right, Super Bowl champion. Just won Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. Mm-hmm. He's coming out. Trent Sherfield, 8-year vet playing with the Denver Broncos. He's here. Got a squad. And probably my favorite Vanderbilt athlete right now, Michaela Blakes, baller, walking bucket. Michaela Bucket, she's coming. And so I'm excited to have her out there too. So it's going to be a fun deal. That's the Vanderbilt side. But we've also got, so the way we scripted is Vandy legends. So those are the people who've made their contribution to Vanderbilt on the field and the court. But we're playing against the Nashville Stars, and they're going to be sponsored by the Nashville Stars.
Look at that.
Baseball organization.
There's some symmetry involved there.
It's crazy how that worked out, too.
Trying to bring a Major League Baseball team here to Nashville for people that don't know.
It's going to happen.
Exactly. Yes. Well, and now you can see them for the first time. They're going to actually field a team together. It's not all pro baseball players, but they've got some pro football players. I got Tyler Dawson, T-Dot, who's a linebacker for the Dolphins. He's playing. Rob Tanyan is going to be there. Yep. My guy, Gunnar Helm. Titans, draft pick, tight end from Texas.
People are high on him.
They love him over there.
He's a baller. I trained with him before the draft. Yeah, so he trained with me over at Lipscomb Academy. I do a lot of training over there with our trainer, Jeremy Holt. And Gunnar was in a group with like 4 other tight ends. And I was telling all the guys I know in the league, like, hey, this guy's crispy. He can run routes. He catches the ball seamlessly. Very fluid. I played with Zach Ertz for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I can tell when a bigger guy is able to move his body, run solid routes, get in out of breaks. Gunner's smooth. And I think the cool thing about him was he always showed up in big games at Texas. that you can't fabricate. He showed up at big times when they need him, so he's going to be there. So excited about him coming out for that game. Shawn Johnson, Olympic gold medalist.
The GOAT.
She's the GOAT, the gymnast. Mm-hmm. So she's going to be there.
Hold on, her husband is a former Vandy guy, so he's going to be on your team.
Andrew East is with us. Yeah, we're splitting up homes. House divided.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Vandy legend.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's got like 1 million followers now on like Instagram, so he's kind of like a Nashville star too. But I'm like, no, you were with us first.
He's Vanderbilt.
We were here before the followers, so you're with us. So he's a Vandy legend for sure.
So Friday,
I
July 11th.
think his wife might be more athletic than him, right?
Dude, you know what's funny? We were talking about some in-between inning activations, and we haven't asked Shawn this, but we were pitching it. We were like, what if we had like if somebody can beat Shawn Johnson in a handstand, like they win a prize? Like
that'd be amazing.
We're trying to compete with the bananas on some of these activations. Like we need something fun.
Yes.
When people come out, like if you're going to come out and support us, we're going to make sure we give you guys a show and give you guys a good time. So yeah, July 11th, man, please come out. Please, it's going to be a great show.
Didn't she just recently have another baby?
I don't know.
Somewhat recently, I think so.
Probably. I mean, you can't say enough good things about Shawn. I mean, obviously, I know people always go back to like, the Olympic gold medals, but she's so much more now. Like she's been able to create a brand long past playing as a mom, as a wife, as an influencer. So I'm just glad to have her and Andrew out. They're great people. So it's going to be fun.
She's been
How do you
here a
get
long time
tickets?
now.
How do you get tickets? So you can go ahead and buy on the pre-sale. We got VIP tickets, general admission, and kids tickets at MatthewsMission.com. MATTHEWS mission.com. The Vandy boys, so Vanderbilt baseball just posted us. They just tweet us out, put us out on Instagram. So you can go to the Vandy boys account. You can go to my Instagram, JMat3X. Yep, and you can buy tickets there. But obviously, you can show up on July 11th. It's going to be a lively deal outside the stadium, and so we're going to be playing music, and you can obviously buy tickets day of the game. But definitely go out and get tickets, get some VIP tickets, do what you got to do, buy some for your friend. Everything's going to an amazing cause, everything. I think there's like some other things we're competing against that night, but I'm telling you, what we're doing is going to be really helping those in need. And I think the coolest thing about what Eli's House is doing that I'm glad we're partnering with them for is these families. I think it's super powerful when people who are going through what they go through feel seen. Like, I came out to support you. Like, somebody along the way told you that you didn't matter. They lied. Like, you matter, and here's all of the Vanderbilt community and Nashville community showing up to tell you, like, hey, you matter. Yeah, we're having fun. Yeah, we're playing softball, but we're so glad all this goes to support your family. So I'm really excited to put it on. It's kind of been stressful at times, but I tell you what, though, whenever you know, like, what we're doing in the end, it makes it matter that much more.
Jordan Matthews, celebrity softball game coming up at Hawkins Field, July 11th. MatthewsMission.com, benefiting Eli's House. Jordan, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in, bro.
Appreciate you guys having me. This is awesome.
Story time. That was fun.
Well, real quick, John on Twitter, I know we're up against it. Please tell Jordan Matthews he just picked up a Vols fan after hearing his story.
Really?
There you go.
I gave the volunteers a hard time at the beginning of this, and I still picked up one.
You still got him.
I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. And please come out, though, so you can meet me, and we'll have a chat.
MatthewsMission.com. Y'all get on it. More 3 until next.
7-Eleven.